welcome to the M2 podcast. This is episode 13. This is the show where we cover your esports, your personalities, your gaming industry related news, new and upcoming games, some technology and innovation. And I am your host, Michael Anthony. My co-host is Mr. Kyle Heath, aka Mr. JK Heath.
Hello.
So thank you guys for tuning in. This is basically the show where we cover all gaming industry related news that we're basically just interested in caught our attention for the week.
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much, right?
Yes, sir.
You play anything this week, Mike? At all?
Man, actually, yeah, I did a Halo 2 tournament on Sunday. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Um, do a little bit of a throwback. I think I played really well. It was probably my best performance so far, so I walked away. We didn't walk away with a win, unfortunately, but I definitely walked away feeling a little bit like confident, I guess. Like on to the next one kind of deal.
Love to
A
hear it.
little bit of a little bit of Rocket League here and there, and that's it. I still haven't played Fortnite. I know you're probably gonna roast me a little bit for that.
I'm not gonna roast you. I mean, I know we're trying to get something scheduled for this week, so
Yes, sir.
we're gonna make it happen.
Yes, sir. What about you? What have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. I think I played. Was it Fortnite? I don't know if I played any Fortnite this week. It's been a while since I played that, but did check out a couple things here and there. It was one game. What did I play? I played one game like really. I didn't spend much time on it though. It was like a quick. I just like hopped on and played, and like for the life of me, I can't think of it right now.
I feel like it didn't catch your interest.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. If I'm struggling to remember it, then I probably didn't. Oh, I actually played a decent amount of this game. Have you ever played Trackmania?
Yes,
Dude.
I love dude.
Oh,
You're gonna take me back. I love Trackmania. Love it. Like I used to play Nations Forever for years. Like that's all I played in college. Like I'd be like that would be my like practice thing in between study sessions in the library.
yeah, yeah.
What were you playing?
I was I was playing this so the Trackmania I was playing is like I got through like Epic Games or whatever. It was like the premise of this game. I don't know if we played the same one or something similar, but essentially like you have all these courses and like you can race with people, but you essentially have these courses. You have 10 minutes to ride this course as many times as you can, and you're essentially just trying to beat your own score, and you're just like competing, against yourself for like 10 minutes. And like,
Yeah,
dude, is like the most fun I've had with a racing game. It's like a racing game that like I like personally enjoy because like I feel like Mario Kart and stuff like that's fun and I'll play it, but like I never got like super invested in those racing games. But like this one is like one I could just sink hours into, and I know I could. It's just like it's a lot of fun, and there's like different types of tracks, and there's even a rank system to it. It's crazy.
So all Trackmania, all the different games do that. I think it's a series that's been going on for over 10 years now. Were you on dirt tracks as like a rally car, or were you using the Formula One style cars, like the Indy cars?
It was kind of like a Formula One kind of style.
Okay, so it sounds like you're doing like Nations Forever, or because you're literally doing time trials, and then people
Yeah,
in the lobby, like from everywhere in the planet, are
yeah,
playing.
yeah. Well, it's really
Yeah.
cool. Like you put in your country and like your state, I think. Like
Oh
you can,
yeah,
like really, and you can see a leaderboard in your entire state or like country or wherever you are. Kind of
it's
crazy.
so addicting. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great game.
yeah, yeah. I discovered that. Actually, a lot of my buddies, well, one of them that was playing it was Preware, who we had on as a guest at one point. I was playing with him, and it's like they were him and a couple other people were like playing it for a while. I just like never like thought to like look into it or try it out, and then like eventually they were just like, "Oh, you need to like come play. Like, think you'd like it." So I hopped on, and sure enough, like I think in my head I was just like, "Oh, it's another racing game." Like I feel like I'm not gonna like get that much enjoyment out of it. But like I hopped on, it was completely like not what I expected, and just amazing. So,
Yeah.
um,
What were you using to play with? Were you using just your keyboard?
yeah, it's just I just went only
Yeah.
keyboard, which works really well, surprisingly. I didn't,
Yeah.
yeah, like I didn't think it would
It's-
have worked that well because I think in no other games like keyboard driving is kind of wonky, but like this is entirely your keyboard. You don't touch your mouse, so it's like it's really nice. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Put some hours into that. I'll probably put some more into that in the future, but that's a racing game
Is it
that's like right up my alley.
is it still free, or did you have to pay for it?
I think it was free to download, but I had to pay some like standard access like thing to like get access to
Okay.
tracks and whatnot. And there's like a club
Yeah.
access that's a little bit more, and you can like do like private races and stuff like that if you buy that. And it's like a yearly like subscription. So
Okay, so yeah, they changed up the model. It's been a while since I played, but when I played, it was like free. Everything was free. I remember I found it because I occasionally when I get bored, you know, when you like just get in a rut, you're tired of playing the same games over and
yeah,
over again. I'll go to Google or YouTube and just type in free whatever cell game,
yeah,
and I did free racing game, and that was like number 2 or 3 or something. And I was
yeah,
like, that looks awesome.
yeah.
So
I think there is a free
good game.
version. I don't know. I want to say the standard pass, whatever I got, you had to like, you like needed that to play in a club game or something like that. So like, that's why we did it, so
Mhm.
we could do like private races. Still a lot of fun though. Like doing we joined a couple of like full speed track races where it's like the idea is you
Yeah,
have to go full speed the whole time. You can't like slow down at
those are the
all.
best.
Yeah. So it's like if you mess up like at like the 40th second out of the minute track, you have to start all the way over. It's like
Yep, because you won't make the gap where the
yeah.
ending gap where you need to be
Yeah.
like Mach 10.
I know. It's still fun though. Like you restart, you're just like, all right, I'll get it this time, and it's just that over and over until you eventually get it.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's like Halo 2, for example, does this. On certain game modes that people used to play, you could do like Lockout, which is a famous map on Halo 2 for the people that have never played. And you can start with like a battle rifle and a sniper, and then people just like 16-player lobbies on this super small map, it's instant respawn. It's like one of the things that COD does too, where you can go into those like lockship games where it's just completely locked in, everybody's spawning instantaneously. It's the satisfaction of like if you mess up or die, you can just restart immediately so you don't dread it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
think that's why it's so successful.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I encourage people to check it out if you're not super into racing games because it may be a format of racing game that
Yeah.
you'll find enjoyable. So it's unlike
It's a
anything
good
else.
time.
That's a
You
lot of
gotta
fun.
try it at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what we've been up to this week. I think we got some articles to get into though. Couple
Yes, sir.
things to go over. I don't think it was anything like major like rocked my socks, so to speak, this week in terms of news stories, but there's still some interesting stuff nonetheless.
Mhm.
Um, I'm starting off with one with a story that is I think fairly interesting to say the least. This comes from IGN and it's regarding Hello Games. You may recognize that developer as the developer that did No Man's Sky. Um, there was a lot of jokes around the game. I know. I think Video Game Donkey was one that I remember
Yes.
very well. Of No Guy Bye, probably the best like play on words
It's the
ever.
best roast.
Oh, so good. Anyways, that game has, even though it had its rough launch, rough is to say the least, it did go on to add some of the features that were promised, and they really turned it around. I think over the years, and I know Mike, you certainly agree. I know we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
So they eventually made a really good game, and it just didn't have a good launch. I mean, that's certainly unfortunately that's not uncommon these days. I feel like for a lot of games, but nevertheless, they said they are working on a new project that is so ambitious it quote seems impossible, even with a
No.
1,000-person team working on it. Is what they're saying. So even if they had 1,000-person team, they don't know how anyone could pull it off. Uh, speaking to IGN, the co-founder and managing director Sean Murray said that while this new game announcement is no sequel to No Man's Sky, the new game is just as ambitious. He said, for a while now, we've been working on something pretty ambitious in the background. It's a small team, but we like it that way. Similarly to No Man's Sky, it's a kind of project that even if we had 1,000 people working on it, it still seem impossible. Um, I don't know if they really went too much, I think, on too much detail. But they're really starting to sell it early, which kind of just like hopefully it's not history repeating itself. I really hope not, especially if they have a small team working on it. But it's like Hello Games, like I feel like every Hello Games, like every project they put out now, there's gonna be a lot of hesitancy from the community. It's like just
Oh
the
yeah.
shoe they kind of shoehorn themselves with that. I mean, I don't know. Are you excited for like another IP from this team, Mike?
Well, have you gone back and played No Man's Sky?
Uh, I don't think I did. I just saw
Okay.
like I saw like Code Carnage, I think, streaming a couple times after like way down the line of its
Okay.
release, but that was it.
Well, I have, and what I can say is that everything that they initially promised is in the game now. It just took them a couple of years to get there. Maybe 3, I believe. Might have been a little bit longer. But, that's not the point. The point is that they eventually got to that point where the game's finished. So, I have high hopes, but I wouldn't expect a lot of promises like the last time. Do you remember how bad it was when Sean Murray was, like, released the game and the community backlash? It was dude, it was so bad, he was getting death threats.
Yeah, straight up.
Like, it was really bad. They had to file, like I think they had to file some type of police report because one of them looked like it might be legitimate.
Yeah, I mean, I would
So,
believe it.
yeah, and, like, in the article, I think you're showing it maybe a little bit lower, but it says he said, "We've" he said, "We've learned our lesson on talking about games too early after No Man's Sky opened." Yeah. So, it was so bad, I don't expect him to make promises anymore. I
Yeah,
think he's gonna be pretty open and honest. Like, he was a really young guy with a brand new indie team, and he
yeah,
promised the world, and it backfired on him,
yeah.
and he fulfilled his promise eventually, so he's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
a liar,
I mean,
but
yeah, you got to give it to him, right? That's like
yeah.
the ultimate story of perseverance in the
Yes,
game
oh my
industry.
god.
Like, they
They
just they took that turd that originally came out, and then they just
yeah.
like they said like let's actually like make this into what we promised. They did it. So
Yeah, I'm not like, some devs would just take the money and be like, "Alright, that's good enough," and then leave, and then
yeah,
stop supporting
or
the
they
game.
just go on to the next project. Be like, yeah, let's just not
Yeah.
even try. Let's just move on. So you got
Yeah,
to give it
but,
to
I
them.
mean yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like, this is the kinda stuff you gotta praise. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
if you do something wrong, definitely, like, give feedback, criticism for it, but if you're doing stuff right, you also have to equally praise it, so,
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
I mean,
for sure.
I think it's interesting, but he's definitely saying it's gonna be an issue. Even if you
Yeah.
had 1,000 people working on it still seems impossible. It's like,
Yeah.
"Alright,
Yeah,
being
it's like,
honest."
I mean, it's so funny. Like you mentioned, so like Murray previously he had previously said that they had learned our lesson about talking about games too early, but here they go, like starting to talk about a game too early. Granted, we don't have details or anything, but still, like they're still starting early. So I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, I think like you should when it comes to like anything creative, I feel like you should just do it and like just because every video game company that or like every developer that we've seen that has just done it, like they haven't announced anything, no press, they just like do it, make
Yeah.
sure it's good, and drop it. Like it not only like saves you from the pressure of like having to like crunch and get the game out at a certain time and like worry about like building up the hype, like when you just drop it, it gives you plenty of time to work on it, focus, make sure it's good, and then people don't expect it, and it just makes it better because it's like here's this finished product that we were able to take our time with because we weren't promoting this for the past 4 years. We just like put our heads down and did it, and then put it out. It just goes to
That's
show,
true.
you just sometimes it's better to just do rather than talk about something because if you talk about something, it's like it really gets rid of a lot of that drive of like wanting to actually do it. You know. So
Yeah.
it's just better to
Yeah,
do.
just just do it.
Yeah. I mean, I
Like
said it best.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm curious to see I guess our next game, but again, I'm just gonna be it's one of those things I'm just gonna be taking it with a grain of salt up until we actually see what they got. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm also, like it's gonna be cool. So, the update for No Man's Sky Outlaws is supposed to come out apparently this summer?
yeah, I
Is that
believe
what that
so.
says? Yeah. So, I mean, I guess gonna get I gotta get you on it so you can
Yeah,
at least experience it. I know you're big into these, like, RPG, like, style
yeah,
open sandbox games, so this is right up your alley.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we I think I definitely we definitely need to play some games. We just need to like, check some of the stuff out because like this is a perfect example of something like it'd be great to just hop on. We'll have to like schedule some time or whatnot. I feel like it's the best
Yeah.
like way to get me on a game and like actually playing is just like we're getting on to this time and then we do it.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely add this
Yeah.
to the list, I think. Um,
This and Sea of Thieves.
yeah, Sea
Gotta
of
go
Thieves.
back. Gotta go back to Sea
Yeah,
of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is a weird thing because I haven't heard much about it. I mean, I've seen like Summon's kind of got back into it and like some of the bigger streamers, but I haven't heard
There
too
was
much on it.
I think there was a new update not too long ago. Um, there has definitely been some hype around it with streamers going back and playing it again.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, there was a tournament. That's why I'm
yeah.
thinking of that.
I
There
think it was
was
in Twitch
a
Rivals, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the most recent thing that I saw is Rare is taking some inspiration from Bungie's Destiny to
Oh
implement some
yeah,
things
yeah,
into Sea of Thieves for the next season,
yeah.
for season
I saw that
6.
article. Yeah,
Yeah, so they're it hasn't been forgotten. They're still working on it, and I mean, Rare's a great developer. I mean, that's a game right there. Not a lot of people. There wasn't a whole lot of hype for Sea of Thieves. I think there was Skull and Bones was
yeah,
the other
maybe.
game that was coming out at the same time. I don't know anybody that plays that game.
Yeah, I don't either,
So Sea of Thieves won, and everybody roasted it. It doesn't look realistic enough. It's like it doesn't
dude.
have to be.
Bro,
It's a
that's
game,
not
dude.
it. They people that say that have not logged onto that game, gotten on a brig, looked at like ran to like the front of the boat and just stared out at a blank ocean of just the water and just like dude,
Yeah,
like if you just go in that game, get on the boat and just look at the water and you just sail around, it is like it's like
it's
I'm
the
actually
vibe.
there. I'm just like this is nice. Like it is so peaceful. Like you're just like chilling, just looking at the water. And the water in that game looks fantastic, regardless
It
of the graphics.
does.
It looks so good.
It does. Their animation's so sick.
Yeah, they did
So
it. They've done a really good job with that game. So I don't know. Ain't a Game Pass. Enough said. I'm not gonna say
yeah, yeah.
anything else. Go play it if you got it. It's free. Oh,
All right.
you know what?
That's
Also, is, you know what's coming out soon, Mike? Or it's actually already out. I'll be honest with you.
oh, what is it?
It exists in the real world. That is
It does?
the
IRL?
glorious, yes, the glorious Model I. This is the brand new mouse coming over from probably, I think, the gaming peripheral marketplace's most uh important business and competitor in the space. Glorious is like they make fantastic peripherals. I'm actually using the Model D, um, which I've had this
It's a
thing
pretty
now.
mouse.
Yeah, I've had this thing now for I think almost over a year now. I've had this one, and it works fantastic. Works great. Um,
I met somebody at a LAN who was using mouse and keyboard, and they had that mouse.
yeah,
It's supposed to be like less than like 2 grams or something, right? It's
yeah,
like super light.
yeah. All of their mice, I think this is like 69 or 70 grams. Like all their mice are really lightweight. Um,
Yeah, one of them is like weightless.
yeah. I also have the Model D wireless for work, and this is my daily driver at work. So
Nice.
like I don't know, I love their products. I had a Model O before then. Um, anyways, their keyboards, their mice are fantastic. And the best part, and you can see it right here in the subheader of this article, the mouse, this new mouse that they came out with is just $60, and that is a running trend, I think, across all of their mice as they've done like $60. It's been really affordable peripherals and they're very high quality. I mean, they essentially took this kind of honeycomb design on the shell, and you can even see it in this picture, and there's more pictures as well. They took this kind of honeycomb design that Final Mouse I think was kind of known for. They brought that to the market, and they except they're making products that are actually easy and affordable to get compared to something like Final Mouse, and they arguably are just as good. I think in most aspects. There may be some Final Mouse elitists that would argue against that, but I don't know. It's just great products. Their keyboards too are fantastic. Um, our boy our boy Crazy Miller's got I got him into Glorious, and so like
Oh,
he
really?
has their Tinkeyless keyboard, and it's really nice. Um, they make great products at affordable prices, and they released their third mouse in a four mouse product line that they're doing. They're doing a mouse, and each model is based off every letter in the Greek god Norse god named Odin. So they're doing a Model O, a Model D, a Model I, and then a Model N is after this one. So this is the third entry in this. I don't know what's like the word. There's a trilogy, and then what's the fourth one? I have no idea. But
A saga? Is it a saga?
I don't know, maybe. And the saga, I like it. So anyways, this mouse came out this week. It is the Model I. It's a very similar shape to what they had before in the Model D, that ergo design. However, this offers more buttons, more side buttons. It offers four. I kind of think of it sort of like the almost like the G502. Not as many buttons. Like the G502 from Logitech is a similar shape. Um,
Yeah.
and not as many buttons. However, it's what the they've explained in tweets and stuff it's what the market was looking for after this mouse came out. They wanted kind of this version but more buttons. That's what they brought. They listened to the consumer. And you know, it makes sense. They're the most pro consumer brand, like one of the most pro consumer brands out there in the PC space. And all of their mice, including this new model, is they all come with like insane sensors and just lightweight designs. And I don't know, I can't speak. I don't think I can speak more highly of them. They're a great company. And if you're looking for a gaming mouse, this could be one for you if you're looking for one with a lot of side buttons. Anyways, I mean, Mike, I know do you use a Razer mouse? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I do. I use the by the way, we're not, for everybody that's listening and watching, we're not sponsored by these guys. You're
No,
just
I
genuinely
I
excited
wish I
about
was.
at the brand.
Mike, I really wish I
uh,
was. I'm gonna be honest with you.
yeah, this is just
But hey,
what do you call it? Consumer reviews. That's
this
what
is
this
yeah,
is.
exactly. This is just a
Yeah,
review. But anyway,
right now I have the Razer Viper 8K. I was previously using a Razer, and I pretty much bought these on sale. And I was like, Razer has a good brand like lineup, and now I'm finding out it's just like this exists, and looks crazy awesome. So I'm kind of intrigued, and it also looks a little bit more comfortable. The reason why I got this the Viper 8K is because I thought higher polling rate that should be good, right?
yeah,
So it's like, yeah, let's get it going. And I told you this in DMs, right? About how I told you I had complaints with Apex Legends, the frame rates messing up and stuff, like when I
yeah,
rip around. And what I found out is if the polling rate is too high in certain games, you lose significant performance issues, or you have significant performance issues. So you got
mm,
to make sure that you like reduce the polling rate down to like 1,000.
yeah,
And at that point, it's like, why don't I just get a mouse like this? You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I
um,
mean, I don't know the science behind polling rate. I don't know if I'm sure a jump from 1,000 to 8,000 is it might be big. I've at the same time it may just
yeah,
be like barely noticeable. You know, probably is. I mean, barely noticeable, but yeah. I mean, I guess I can always respect, companies trying to kind of push the limits, so I certainly
yeah.
respect kind of especially Razer's take and trying to make this sensor insane. But I know for these mice and this one too, polling rate I'm pretty sure is 1,000, kind of all you really need. I know like um I know Final Mouse all of their mice was 500, and they were pretty steadfast about like not making it 1,000. And like consumers were like, why don't you just make it 1,000? I'm like, no, 500's like there's no point. I don't know, that's a whole nother argument, I guess.
Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a
I
great mouse.
I just go with the deals, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's the big thing. If you're looking for if you're looking for an affordable mouse, it's certainly one of them. Their whole lineup is around 50, $60, I think. So
Yeah. I mean, I've never used one, but I've held one, and that thing blew me away with how light it was.
yeah,
It
very
was
light.
like picking up this feels heavy, and then when I picked up that one, I was like, this feels like nothing's in my hand.
Yeah,
It like definitely less than a cell phone for sure.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah, I
pretty
mean
cool.
it's been proven in FPS too that like a lighter mouse will like over time like help your aim just because you're not like
Oh yeah,
the lighter your
overcompensating.
yeah, I mean the
Yeah,
lighter your peripheral is, the more accurate you could be without and like the like quicker you can flick and react. And I don't know, then again, some people like heavier mice. Some people like to
hmm
like the G502 you can add weights to it to an already very heavy mouse.
yeah. That's
So
I heard
um
about that. That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
So to each their own. Not to say that a lightweight mouse guarantees you to be a god at any game you touch, but can definitely help. Nevertheless, Glorious Model I is out now if you're looking for a mouse at an affordable price. Check it out. Next, we are talking about yet another con, Mike. Yet
Yep,
another
good old
event.
conference.
Yet
hmm
another event that is unfortunately not having an in-person meeting this year. Talking about QuakeCon, announced this week that the that QuakeCon 2022 will remain online only for this year, and that's it. They are promising and committing to a full in-person return in 2023. Bethesda, the main developer, or I guess the main company that normally runs the event, stated that they stated that there was an ongoing uncertainty. That's why they made this decision, but they are fully committing to a 2023 QuakeCon in person. I don't know. For me, it's no surprise, especially after we heard about A3 and all these other conferences that are, still staying digital or just not happening at all. So it's it's good that they're still doing something though. I think they always have Bethesda always has great stuff to show at QuakeCon, and they always do even do some pretty stellar announcements on some of their titles. And I'm sure this year we'll probably see some stuff on Starfield there. So
Yeah, I
it'll
think
be
so too.
it'll be an interesting event. But I don't know. Does this surprise you at all, Mike?
Yeah, it surprises me a little bit. I thought by now they were gonna be, especially because it's down in Dallas, Texas. I thought for sure that they would let it go, but I mean, like, what kind of major company, major conference wants to take that kind of risk?
Yeah,
So it's really unfortunate, but at the same time, it's like this is a really big convention, and if you're gonna do this, you need to make sure it's done right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I can respect it, but
Yeah, I can too. It's
mhm.
it is what it is. These I think 2022 hopefully is the last year we see cancellations or digital only. I'm sure by
Oh,
next year
let's
we'll
hope
start
so.
by next year we'll be back together and doing the crazy streams. Like most of these events I won't even go to. I'm just gonna watch them at home, but it'll be cool to see even from home. So,
Yeah, yeah,
so
true.
yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the return. 2023 is gonna be a good year, I think, uh, for game announcements and whatnot. And then
Yeah, it's been fire this year too,
I
if
mean,
you really
yeah,
think about it.
yeah. I
It's
mean, it has
just
been.
conferences and in-person events have all been canceled, which is like, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Not like in the grand scope of things, not very many people go to them.
Yeah.
Like out of all gamers, like what's the real percentage of people that go to like live events? It's just unfortunate that we can't go,
Mhm.
for right now. But it's gonna be all right. We're turning it
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, we still got Summer's Games Fest and everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we got a lot of stuff that'll still be around. I mean, doing everything online it's probably cheaper anyway in the you know,
Yeah,
when it's all
definitely.
said
Are
and
you
done,
kidding me?
So
Hmm.
it's not a bad thing. I just want to see that energy.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Like the crowd going like it's like going to a concert. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
you can
man.
watch it on YouTube. It's cool, but it's like you don't know what it's like when you're there smelling it, when you're tasting the food. You know what I mean?
Facts. Ah, QuakeCon.
Yeah.
We'll see you again. We'll see you in person next year, huh?
Yep.
You know,
2023.
you know what else we're gonna see in 2023, and we
Oh, what is
probably
that?
should have seen in 2021.
Oh, don't get me started.
Cyberpunk 2077. First expansion is now set to
Yep.
come in 2023. I don't know. I can say I'm a little upset, but anyways, this article comes from The Verge. Um, it says in the subheader of the article, "Patience is a virtue." It certainly is, I guess. Um, now that Cyberpunk 2077 is in somewhat more stable position, developer CD Projekt Red is talking about the future, including the game's first expansion. Today, the studio revealed this was in fact today, the 14th this article came out. Studio revealed that the previously announced expansion of the game will be launching in 2023. Unfortunately, this is all we know. There's no information on what to expect from the first major content update for the game. CD Projekt Red says to expect more details later this year. Um, this is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm very excited. I think it's great. Um, I think something like this is something I've been waiting for Cyberpunk. I know whenever like the game was announced, they were talking about DLC and everything. I think the original plan, and even you could even go online and still find some of the original roadmaps, but they were stating that when the game launched, within I want to say it was like by April or May, they were I think because the game launched, they said they had two major patches, right? They were going to launch
Yeah.
those. They were going to drop those two major patches, get that sorted, and then they were going to start focusing on the first DLC. I don't know. I don't know if they were focusing on development then, or if they were going to try and release by second half of the year of 2021. Um, that of course didn't happen. They put out patches. They still continue to put out patches,
Yeah.
and now I guess the game is in such a poor state that they had to essentially like double back, fix the game, and then now here we are. Like they're probably starting to work on the first DLC now. It is what it is, you know. I think the game was. I still enjoyed the game. I thought it was fun, even with the bugs and everything. And I'm definitely gonna be jumping back in when the DLC comes out. Like, there's no doubt. I'm definitely gonna check it out. So, um, I don't know. I just wish I could have got back into the game last year and like experience that
Mm,
world again, because that was something I looked forward to so much. Because like I really love the world, so it's like just jumping back into that is
it's
like
so cool.
it's such a cool world. I mean, and Mike, you got to experience this game the fresh set of eyes the past couple of weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on the game, man?
Okay, so right off the top, something that I want to bring note of that we've talked about Cyberpunk 2077 before on this podcast a couple episodes back, and I forgot to mention this. My buddy got the game on Xbox Series X, and he said it was slightly buggy, but it wasn't that bad. I had another one of my friends play it on the Xbox One, and he said it was really buggy, but he like had to force himself through it. But the people that were on like PlayStation and PC, in particular, they said it was basically borderline unplayable, right? So those guys have the guys on Xbox have already gone through and they've beaten the game. I know you beaten the game too, and they're they're as frustrated as you are. But for me personally, with me just like I literally bought the game on release, heard how bad the game was, and then I was just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna ask for a refund because I trust the developer to fix this. Big risk, I know, but I was like, ah. I was just like, I don't care. I don't want to look. Didn't touch it until a couple of weeks back. I'm loving it, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm genuinely having a great time, and for a long time, I was just like, this is just the game I'm going to be playing for the next month. So, um, with this, with so for me, with hearing that they're going to be coming out with some DLC, it's like that's my experience. Like I just got the game on release kind of thing. I'm like a week into the game, like the new game experience. I'm not like frustrated at all. I'm not experiencing any serious bugs. And now with the DLC coming out next year, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like your
Yeah.
reaction to my reaction was completely different. You're like
Wow.
right before we started recording, you're like, yeah, and they're just next year coming out. I'm like, yeah, that's not too long. But for you, you're like, it's been 3 years.
It's literally, where's
You're-
that meme, dude? It's been 3 years. It's been 87 years. Um, dude, yeah. I'm looking forward to it, but it's been a long time coming. And I mean, look, I'm glad they're at a point now where they feel comfortable to start working on the DLC. Like
yeah.
it could have been, it definitely could have been way worse, especially with the state that game was in. Um, and a year, a year and some change later makes sense with the state that it
Mhm.
launched in. They definitely did the right thing of not saying like, oh, we're just gonna put out DLC now, and then like it's
Yeah.
like April 2021 and the game's still in shambles. Um, so they're definitely handling it right. So I can't be too harsh on them. But
Yeah, they've owned their mistakes, I think,
yeah,
and
for
they're
sure,
correcting it. So,
for sure.
um, the other cool thing that some people might have forgotten, but we mentioned Unreal Engine 5 last episode,
Yeah.
and the next Witcher game is going to be based on that, who's CD Projekt Red. So their studio is going to have their hands full, man.
Oh yeah, for
Working on The
sure.
Witcher on a new engine and also Cyberpunk trying to create new content.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they're spending time on Unreal Engine 5. I'd like to think there's certainly a lot of new stuff with that engine. I mean, it's been how long since like Unreal 4 came out? Like a long time. Like
yeah,
there's definitely gonna be a lot of changes between the engines. But I also like to think there's gonna be a certain aspect of kind of relatability with a lot of the previous like practices, and going forward
yeah,
it's gonna use a lot of the same like kind of ideals. So, when they go into Unreal 5, it's going to be like, here's kind of what you had, but we added some stuff to make, textures look better, and everything just perform
things.
better.
Yeah,
So it's
more
definitely,
convenient features. I hope.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
exactly. They probably, I mean, since they spend so long between each version of this engine, there's sure they've tested it, worked out every single like imaginable thing that could go wrong. So
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, it makes me excited. It certainly makes me excited for the next Witcher, because I think any game that's gonna be coming out on Unreal 5 is gonna be absolutely the next level. And we even have a game we're gonna discuss here in a little bit that the developer confirmed they're actually working on Unreal Engine 5. They went back, made the game, but they're gonna like double back and make sure it's crazy. So they really like I think a lot of devs really want to take advantage of the new technology, and I definitely don't blame them, because it'll certainly help the game, especially as we get further into this life cycle of consoles. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think like Cyberpunk. I think they certainly CD Projekt Red will have a lot on their hands. I think with Cyberpunk, yeah, they'll probably have a small team working on DLC and stuff still. A small team. That's a huge company, so
yeah.
I use that word lightly, but
Small team of 100 people.
probably yeah. But yeah, so I mean they'll have that team there, and then I'm sure most of that studio is just focusing on Witcher at this point, especially after how Cyberpunk
Oh
launched.
yeah.
They're just like, whatever, we got most of the bugs hashed out. Let's start focusing on the next thing, and then we'll just let B team over here take care of the DLC. That kind
Yeah,
of thing. So
they've had like 4 or 5 major updates.
yeah,
I remember one was like 10 gigabytes a
yeah,
couple of months back,
oh yeah,
maybe last year. I saw it and I was just like, "Oh, does this mean it's good?" So I do like Cyberpunk 2077 status, and then people are still complaining that they're bugs, and I was like, "We gotta wait."
yeah,
and
yeah,
and sure enough, then there was like another 15 gigabyte updated, and everybody's like, "It's finally fixed
yeah.
or playable." Playable was the
Yeah.
word.
Sony
So
trusted enough to put it back on their store, so
yeah,
that says something.
yeah,
It's definitely in a way better state. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
yep.
excited for the future of it. I'm also, hearing about the new Witcher makes me really need and want to go back and play Witcher 3. Like, it's just one of those games I feel like, even though I'm not like huge on fantasy, I still feel like there's got to be something in it for everyone. If there's so many people with Steam reviews that have like 10,000 plus hours on a single player title, like it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, and and the TV series too. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah, yeah, I heard it's really good.
Yeah. It is. It's awesome. So you haven't watched it?
I've not watched it. I just saw like trailers and stuff. Saw Henry Cavill. Everyone going
Do you
nuts
know
about him.
anything about the story of The Witcher?
Um, I not really like bits and pieces. I
You're
actually
missing out.
I have Witcher 1 and 2 installed on my PC. I wanted to originally go back and play through like the first Witcher and the second, and build my way up to 3. Still need to
Yeah,
do it.
they're really good. The story is it's demanding, I think, like of your time.
Yeah.
It's worth it, but if you're feeling lazy, like if you don't have time, just YouTube it.
Yeah.
YouTube the 30-45 minute like the story of The Witcher, and they'll
Yeah.
go into everything
It's
and
probably
explain it for you, and
yeah.
they get your butt on the TV series. It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah. Have to check it out.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Um yeah, Witcher 3 is definitely on the list. I'm gonna play it. I think like with Witcher, like with the new Witcher that comes out too, I want to play it just for Unreal 5 alone because my hype for that engine's gonna
Oh
be so
yeah.
insane. I'm just gonna be like, gotta see the 7. I don't even know when it takes place. When is that? Like I gotta see the 1200s and in stunning quality. But
It's like high fantasy stuff,
yeah,
so it's like the timeline's kind of irrelevant.
yeah, I guess
It's
so.
just think medieval era.
Yeah, yeah, and those kind of games I always like steer clear of. But I don't know. I feel like this is the one exception where it's worth. So I'll check it
Hmm.
out, man. It's on the list, that's for sure. It's always the next DLC of Cyberpunk. It's also on the list, all right? I'm a little upset,
Yes,
but
sir.
I'll let it slide. That's
I
what it
mean,
is.
that's fine. I'll tell you all about it and all the fun I'm having.
Ah, you know what's also fun? The fact
What's
that
that?
the fact that Sony and Nintendo is now changing their subscription renewal systems following the UK investigation. The same investigation that we
Mm.
reported back in, what was it, January? That
Yeah,
that
early episode.
yeah, that Microsoft was originally kind of they're essentially taking a lot of their business practices with Game Pass and Xbox Gold and
Yep.
making it more consumer friendly, which is fantastic. So Nintendo and Sony are doing the same thing after investigation of the UK government continues on these subscription services and I guess the Consumer Competition and Markets Authority. Um, it was reported by GamesIndustry.biz. I pulled this article from IGN. Said that the changes will make it harder for people to unknowingly pay money towards PlayStation Plus or Nintendo Switch Online. This is after, again, like I stated, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority launched an investigation into automatic renewal practices. Pro consumer stuff all around. I'm very I tip my hat first and foremost to Microsoft for being kind of the catalyst and like being the first one to step in and say
Yep.
like we're gonna change this stuff. We want to be pro consumer. And sure enough, Sony and I again commend Sony and Nintendo for following suit. Albeit 3 months behind probably, but they still did it anyway. Um, so
Probably didn't even have a choice, to be honest.
they probably, yeah, I mean, they probably didn't, and I think, um, I think overall, it's gonna be the best move. I think too with the new subscription model that Sony's launching in coming up in June here. It's like the
Yep.
perfect time to like try and they're rethinking the actual system itself. So why not rethink the business practices behind it? So uh, I tip my hat to all of them, man. They're doing the industry some good. They're doing the consumer some good. At the end of the day, we get a better product, and we are less likely to get screwed over by forgetting stuff, which I think
That's a
is
fact.
which I think is which I think to a certain extent these companies you know as especially as like adults, like we have our responsibility, right? We should definitely keep track of this stuff, but like but at the same time we can use the same argument, we're adults, like we have so much going on. It's nice to have it's nice for the companies to keep track of
Yeah.
things and be like, okay, yeah, we'll we'll give you the hand of grace here. What you think, Mike? You for it?
I'm always for it, man.
Yes,
Always pro
yes,
consumer
sir.
because like for the long I think this just goes to show like with the government investigation just in particular, it just goes to show that like the government's just they have to regulate it somehow and like protect the consumers overall. And I think a lot of that really started with we can go as far back as like Mortal Kombat with their rating system, right? Like, well, sorry, not the rating system, but basically because of Mortal Kombat being so like gory and stuff,
Yeah.
like it might not be suitable for like kids, you know?
Mhm.
So it starts with that and then it gets up to I think most recently would be the loot boxes and how it's almost some people can classify it as gambling.
Yeah.
So it's like we need a little bit more consumer like safety nets almost, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is always good to see, I think.
Yeah.
It is going to be good for the industry overall.
Yeah. I think I think regulation is good in some aspects, and this is probably the most like relevant. I think that this is probably the most relevant aspect of any business, let alone gaming, of just like
Yes.
making sure the consumer is protected. like
Yeah.
so,
Not taken advantage of.
right. I mean,
Crazy.
yeah, it's a crazy concept, but yeah, man, I am very happy with this. I think it's just like I'm sure there's probably other things that could be done if you really like try to dig deep and think about it, but at the end of the day, this is the step that in the right direction, and it's a big one too. So let's go, man.
It's always good to see.
Very good to see. Very exciting stuff. Also, very exciting stuff that we may not see for a long time, Mike.
Yeah.
I joke, I joke. Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced this past weekend at the
Yes,
20th
it was.
anniversary event of the franchise. That's crazy. Like 20 years. Jeez. Crazy, man, crazy. I actually have the original kind of announcement trailer run when we talk about it, but
Yeah.
essentially it was shown in this at the Kingdom Hearts anniversary event. It's or I guess I don't know if it's, anyway, it was shown at the anniversary event. This trailer is very interesting. I will say I've never Kingdom Hearts is another franchise I've never played. Like my roommate's huge on it. He's played through all of them. And
Yep.
he like has a pretty decent grasp of the story and the lore even. This is one of those franchises where like the lore, it blows my mind. Like some people that actually keep up with it, because
Oh yeah.
there are so many little games that actually affect and have a connection and like the main like arcing story throughout the franchise.
Yeah.
And like this is the one, like the lore like web, I guess is the best way to describe it, blows my mind for this franchise. Like it's one of the few it's like whoa. Um and even when I'm seeing people reacting to this trailer and like discussing like where this new Kingdom Hearts is, like how they got into like a city. Like I mean, if you look at the trailer now, it's like they're in like Tokyo. Like
Yeah.
it's like so crazy to me. Seeing the original games and it's like they're in these fantasy worlds or in like Disney like universes, and it's like here we are in like what looks like a Final Fantasy 15 city. Like what's going on here? Um, but yeah, so they made this announcement. I think most people I think most people are excited for it. There's probably some diehards that are like hesitant. depending on, especially with the kind of arc they're going for. I'm not going to pretend like I know what is going on in terms of like the story, like just from watching this. I don't know. I mean, Mike, have you played Kingdom Hearts at all? Like, are you aware of like these insane like lore like tunnels?
Okay, so I had a buddy growing up. Arguably can be considered my brother. I've known him since I was like 3, literally,
Yeah,
and he was a massive Kingdom Hearts fan. He was always a gamer. I was more of like go out and do sports kind of thing. But what I would do is I would always watch him play like Mega Man, Mario, and like Kingdom Hearts. And this man loved Kingdom Hearts so much, he had the tattoo of the Keyblade on his inner bicep.
dang.
Like that was his first ever tattoo. Absolutely loves the series. And like you said, it's crazy how far in depth it goes.
Yeah,
It's like it's kind of complicated as well. So I know there are people that are like listening to us and they saw this trailer, they're probably losing their mind
yeah,
and so excited.
definitely,
So
man.
I'm all for it, dude. This is gonna be really cool. And
Yeah,
Square Enix, I mean the troll that you're making is like it took them how many years to come out with
a three.
like Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah, way too long.
It's way too long.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's funny too because even when three came out, there was a lot of controversy and a lot of like fans that were like, I like this is kind of underwhelming. Like, I don't like this
yeah,
isn't what like I was really expecting. And it's like, and I again never played it, so I can't really speak on it. I'm just like saying from like past experience of like friends that have played it and what kind of
yeah,
what a lot of people on Twitter were saying, when the game came out. But it's kind of just
yeah,
like what's going on here,
yeah. It was a little bit underwhelming for the most part, but it's I think the reason why it was underwhelming is because after Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, they kind of teased that there was going to be a Kingdom Hearts 3,
Yeah.
and then it was like that for like 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
people were expecting something absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, when the expectations are that high, I mean, you're not gonna hit.
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
Yeah, it gets to a certain extent of like, you're waiting too long and then like you just
Yeah.
pass a point of like you probably won't impress or you probably won't like please everybody, certainly. So it's like is what it is. I mean, it's good they announced Kingdom Hearts 4. It seems like again, we don't know we certainly don't know when it's coming out. Again, with the gap between 2 and
Yeah.
3, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
The studio did talk about that they are planning to take Kingdom Hearts 4 into Unreal Engine 5. This was stated by I think a statement of one of the game directors. They said they're like starting to work on that now of like moving everything that they've worked so far over to Unreal Engine 5 and utilize the power of that engine. So that's certainly exciting. For me, Kingdom Hearts is definitely something I'm going to get to eventually because like there's just I mean I'm not going to play every single like I'm not like
Yeah.
I forget. There's some games that came on like PSP. I think like exclusive. Like I probably won't play that, but like I'll definitely go get 1, 2, 3 and play those, and maybe some of the extras. It's one of those things I'll probably consult my roommate on that because he's the expert, I think. But it's
I
definitely a
think
franchise I'm gonna
yeah.
visit. So
You know, well, our mutual friend Nick, with him going back and watching Star Wars for the first time, it makes me think of like going back and watching, or specifically in this case, like playing video games that have a massive cultural impact on like society when it comes to gaming. Like you got to go back and play them, you know?
yeah,
It's like I think everybody needs to play Super Mario at least for a couple hours.
yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
don't have to beat it, but like you got to experience it. You got to go experience Mario Kart, you know?
Yeah,
Like stuff like that. And I think Kingdom Hearts in particular is one of those games you have to go experience some way, shape, or form to just like it has a huge cult following.
yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of franchises like that, and there's certainly like my list gets definitely gets bigger and bigger of my backlog of games I want to go back and play. Um,
Facts.
yeah, and like also like since we've been talking about like indie games and stuff so much lately, it makes me want to go and like check out just random indie games. Just like pick one random, maybe one that I don't necessarily think looks good, and just play like force myself to play it because I'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just goes for a lot of these franchises too. It's like part of me is like I may not like it, like Kingdom Hearts, I may not enjoy, but like I'm probably gonna surprise myself. Like there's probably a 90% chance I will completely surprise myself and actually enjoy it because it
Yeah.
has to have a following like that for a reason, right? So um
Yeah. I mean, a good example of that is like I came across like XO1 at like 2 a.m. I was just bored out of my mind, not tired at all. Like I had an energy drink a couple hours beforehand. I was like, I'm not going to sleep for a while. And I was like, "What's on Game Pass, man? Oh, indie game. XO1. What is this? Oh, a ball that just travels from one planet to the next at supersonic speed? All right, let's check it out." And then I just beat the entire game in one night. I was like, "This is amazing. So much fun."
Up until 3 a.m.
So,
wired.
yeah. I think I went to bed at like 4:30 in the morning. It was a good game.
So good.
It was a lot of fun. Shout out to the devs, and anybody that's like wanting to check out an indie game. XO and EXO1.
Yeah.
So pretty
Huh.
cool.
So one. Yeah, I mean I think for me one of the uh one of the main things is I think coming up I want to do something sort of like either just check out a new game I've never heard of or actually just do like try and play like a new indie game every week. Just even for a little bit, Try something just like just broaden the horizon a little bit. Like just kind of force myself to do it.
Yeah.
That's something I've been looking
I-
into. I mean I have a backlog, but like I gotta check out indie, man, especially on Game Pass. I think it's just worth it.
Dude, especially what Nintendo and Xbox have been doing.
Hmm.
Like, we are so pro indie right now. We need to start talking to indie devs and bring them on.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd love to
telling
do
you.
that, man.
But like, we need to figure out what's going on. So if anybody's listening that's an indie dev and you're working on a project, hit us in the emails.
Yeah,
Please.
hit us up in the emails
Please.
or just DM
Let's
us.
check it out.
You know where our Twitters are, it's
You
down there in the
literally,
description if you're on YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
it's everywhere.
Send us a message. We'd love to have you on. We love to talk games. Um, just development in general. I know it's interesting to me, like especially with like a programming background. I think it'd be very interesting to see what goes
Oh
on.
yeah,
I'm
you'll
like,
totally nerd out.
yeah, I'll nerd out completely. Um, but yeah, it's certainly something I'm gonna do coming up here pretty soon. Just start playing games, man. I also I think on the Switch too. Like, I need to start getting more use out of my Switch, like badly. Like, I know I even have a backlog of like downloaded games, like like Mario Odyssey. I think I played a little bit of, but I certainly haven't played enough of it. Like Breath of the Wild, I really need to go back to that. I played like a few hours of it and just
Yeah.
kind of never went back to it. Um,
I need to finish Breath of the Wild
yeah,
for sure.
a lot of those games I just need to sit down and complete, and just haven't done it.
Well, man, we got like which games are coming out? That yeah, Switch Sports, April 29th.
But yeah,
13
that
days, 15 days.
yeah, I mean that alone's gonna get me back on the Switch, so might as well fire out
That's a
something else if
fact.
if I want to play that. So
Yep.
I mean, yeah,
Yep.
like for me, I think indie games on Switch, I love the idea of it. I guess it ultimately depends on price point because normally things on Switch, at least Nintendo first party
Yeah.
is always like out the gate $60, which not saying it's not worth that price. Um, it's just especially with something like a subscription service like Game Pass, it's just like it's making the initial buy of like a game kind of less and less mainstream. So
Yeah,
um,
it absolutely is.
so I would love to see Nintendo's response at some point if they were to do something like that. I mean,
Do you think it would ever
nothing's.
happen?
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but at the same time, it's like their market. They know their market way too well, and
Yeah.
they're gonna know it better than probably any consumer will, and they probably just keep it that way for a reason, right? Um, I mean, I think everyone would love if they came out with some sort of subscription service to play like any of their first party titles. Are you kidding me? It would sell like crazy. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah.
Um, but but yeah, I mean, I just don't know if Nintendo would ever do it. I mean, it really just depends, I guess. It depends. I mean, with PlayStation, they're doing the PlayStation Plus. They revamped that, but it's still kind of like not Game Pass. It's just their own kind of backwards
Yeah.
compatibility, like circus like scape thing. So
I think Nintendo would be better suited for it, but I don't think it's gonna be possible for them with the size of the hard drives that are on the Switch.
yeah,
Do you know how inconvenient it's gonna be to download like over the internet and then uninstall when you like reach maximum capacity?
yeah. I will
Yeah,
say though. Nintendo is probably the it's certainly the easiest console to expand storage on with a micro SD card. Like the
That's a fact.
other consoles don't have that, right? Like
You can
Xbox
go to
has
the
their
store
own
and just grab it.
proprietary for Series X, and it's like this like slotted thing that you, the hard drive that you have to stick into the back, and it just sticks out. It looks terrible. I don't
Yeah.
know. And then PlayStation, I think you can actually replace the drives outright in those consoles, at least in PlayStation.
Mhm.
I don't. I know Xbox is proprietary. You can't like actually switch it. I mean, I don't know, but I know with PlayStation, they don't mind if you expand upon the storage that's in there, and they make it easy to take apart. They have like disassembly videos and stuff about how to do that. So
Yeah.
they're one of the more like kind of
Couple of tricks.
yeah, they're one of the more like pro consumer when it comes to that kind of stuff. Of like, hey, you want to replace something? Here you go. Here's how you do it. But Nintendo makes it easy. It's certainly the easiest out of all of them. So storage, I feel like isn't too much of an issue, especially if you just like are willing to just go and spend a little extra for a memory card. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, network. I mean, I was gonna say network limitations, but I mean, we played that Pokemon VR game, not VR. What was
That
it?
was it was
It was what was
I'll
this genre?
remember
What was this
eventually.
genre? It was like it's
It's
League,
basically
Pokemon League.
it's like, yeah, it's like League of Legends, but it was something else entirely. It was oh man, I would love to go back and play that game again. But the problem with
Hmm.
that game is they had a little bit of microtransactions in it where if you upgrade your character and bought these like upgrades to boost your character base stats, it basically made it so you were like unbeatable.
No,
Um
that's
and
upsetting.
that was super upsetting, but at the same time it was such a fun game that I was like, I'm okay with just getting stomped every now and then from like a team of people that paid to beat me.
Yeah.
It's like that other thing of just like, I'm like, I can probably beat you skill wise. You just have a better character,
Yeah.
kind of deal.
And you start going in
Um,
chat trying to GA items.
yeah,
Don't use this. Don't. What are you doing? Don't use it. Then
yeah.
again, then
Gentleman's
again,
agreement. If
yeah,
anybody didn't know what
yeah,
GA was.
yeah. But you can't really like have a gentleman's agreement in that because all the stuff's predefined in the lobby, and then you go into whatever you have, so you
Yeah,
can't like take anything off.
yeah,
Dang it, man.
yeah.
You know.
I would love to see a voting system in like some games in particular.
Yeah.
Just like
No
remove
kidding.
things, like how League of Legends does. But that's because they have like 5,000 different characters to choose
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, and that's you're banning champions in that game. It's kind of like I mean, like with Smite was the same way too with gods. Like you could ban like certain gods in like their ranked modes,
Yeah.
and like definitely it's for a game like that. It's definitely needed if especially if you know who you're facing. Like when it gets to high
Oh
level, you
yeah.
know who's good with who, and so like you just try to
Yeah.
ban like the insanely like high like top fragging ADCs that gods that you know like their ADCs good with. It gets very like it gets very particular.
I would love to see if somebody's like kept it on the low an entire season about their best character. Then they go into the final championship and they're just like, I'm just suddenly the best.
Yeah, right. They
Reminds me
just
of a Super Smash Melee tournament that I saw where a guy played as his worst character. I think it was Mewtwo King. Played as like his worst character, and then he beat the second best player on their best character. I was like, oh my gosh, this is
so
crazy. It was like so disrespectful.
yeah. Dude, for the sleeper picks, man, I'm telling you.
Oh
People
yeah.
need to start doing
Like
it more. It's so good.
like use Jigglypuff or like Yoshi or something.
Some ridiculous
Perfect.
dude. I don't even know who's like I'm trying to think who the worst character in like Melee was. I don't even know who the worst
In
one was.
Melee,
Yeah.
jeez,
Because there were
Melee.
because like there were
There's a
some
tier list. Let's find bonus content. Let's find
bonus
out
tier list.
Super
Melee.
Smash
Good God.
Bros. Melee tier list. There's a character tier list for pretty much every Super Smash Brothers for
It's
anybody
true.
that doesn't know. And every Smash Bros. Competitive player right now is rolling their eyes at me. So, is this Melee or Super Smash Bros. Melee? Okay, so Super Smash Bros. Melee came out in 2002 or 3 or whatever.
Yep. That's an old
Okay, the 13th tier list as of March 29th, 2021. The worst
wow.
character is rated Bowser. Second worst character is Kirby.
Oof.
Yikes.
Makes sense.
It's pretty good to see that my boy Star Fox is S tier, ranked number
Oh,
one overall.
forever.
That
He will forever be
yeah,
S tier in that game. He's
yeah,
way
he
too
was my
good.
favorite.
Yeah, Bowser I think got
So
pretty good. Like I think he's pretty good in like in the Switch like Smash. No, Ultimate. I
Possibly.
think he's pretty good in Ultimate. At least if I'm not mistaken. He's like very toxic. Cause like I think you can like he's either him or someone else. You can like pick people up. No, I think
Yeah.
it was him. You could pick people up. Like you would pick people up. You would like do his spinning move in the air, and then you would just crush people in, and you would like take a
Oh,
death. Like,
yeah, I know exactly what you're
it's
talking
so
about.
toxic. Like if you had two lives and the other guy had one, you could just win because you could just like carry him off the map. Way too toxic. Oh, they made him good
That's
in that.
crazy, man. I'm looking at this tier list getting lost now. I remember when I used to play with like my buddies in high school. They loved Sheik, and
Yeah.
Sheik is no longer S tier. They dropped to A tier.
Yikes.
That's pretty interesting how that happened.
It'd be like
I've
that,
been out of
you
the
know.
game too long. Out of the game too long. But it makes
Games of
sense why I had
truth.
so much fun playing as Fox. My favorite characters would to play as was Link and Young Link, though.
Oh
I can
yeah,
pop.
dude.
Yeah, but it's only
Oh
so
man,
much you can do.
the sword characters are too much fun in like any Smash game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the power hits just hit different, you know?
Dude, they're some of the most annoying too. It's so fun playing annoying characters in Smash games.
Yeah, yeah, that's the whole point. I think that's why I liked it, because I liked being annoying.
Ah, well, I'm out of stories this week, Mike. That was it. I have to
Yeah.
say, that's all we had.
Well, I got a quick update of something that I saw recently that we're not actually going to cover, but something to keep like note of is Battlefront. No, not Battlefront. Sorry, Battlefield 2042
Yep.
article that I saw very recently, and actually I might be able to pull it up right now if I can just go to the Discord hashtag.
Yeah.
Discord at the bottom.
Mad
Check the
Les
link in the
Discord.
description. Yeah, so it's going to be getting a massive. This is from Game Rant. Update 4.0 for Battlefield 2042 launches soon. It doesn't say the date. It features a staggering number of changes, and now a developer from DICE details what to expect. So, yeah, over 400 changes.
Jeez.
And yeah, anybody that, like, Battlefield 4 has more people playing than Battlefield 2042. Okay, so Battlefield 2042 is in a bad shape. I mean, Halo Infinite's also doing bad. MCC had a major update where you can play as fight flood forms in Firefight, and they got custom game browsers for Halo 2. So a lot of people that were playing Halo 2 back in the day and playing on Project Cartographer that I play on, they now have dedicated custom browser services as well. So uh, a lot of people are coming back and playing these games again. So yeah, MCC's numbers passed Halo Infinite's for over 24 hours a couple of days ago,
Yep.
which
I
is
saw that. I think it was
crazy.
48, wasn't it? A long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I'm trying to say 24 not to hurt anybody. so what I'm trying to say is that with the last few the last few topics we had No Man's Sky, we just had the Cyberpunk 2077 about how them issuing massive updates and they're bringing people back. Battlefield 2042 is looking to do the same thing. So I'm hoping that it improves it greatly and I
Yeah.
can finally go play this game because I love Battlefield.
Yeah.
I have so much fun. I could play that game solo and not care at all and just have like a great time. There's not
Yeah.
any pressure on you to do amazing. Like
Yeah.
just go and play. So high hopes. Hopefully you got it. Man, I love a good comeback story. And I want to see them succeed. So
Um, yeah, I
yep.
played the beta, Battlefield 2042 beta, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminded me of
I thought it was
Battlefield. I was
cool.
like, I had fun. I was playing it solo too, and I enjoyed it. It's just fun,
Yeah.
man. Just running around, just shooting. It's a good FPS.
Yeah. I
Cause
had
you
fun
know,
too, and then all my friends complained and said it was trash. So I was like, I guess it's broken. Then all
uh,
the reviews come out and showing all the bugs, and I was like, okay, we're gonna wait.
eh,
We're gonna wait to buy. So
yeah. Who knows? That's a game we may not see an improvement until we just see a whole new title entirely. Who knows?
oh,
but,
yikes. Yeah.
but, yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on it though. And if something, if it changes the game, turns it around, we'll definitely report it right here. You'll hear it, maybe, hopefully first. We'll see.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, depends. That's the thing. If it, if news comes in
If
on
it's
Monday,
Thursday, yeah.
I mean, we'll get to it.
You
You
wait.
know, it'll take the whole week, but we'll get to it. Yeah,
We got jobs, all right?
yeah. Look, we gotta make this work
Yeah.
somehow.
Yes, sir. Well, that's pretty much all I really wanted to bring up from like an update standpoint. And
All right.
yeah, yeah. I think that pretty much wraps up episode 13 of the M2 podcast. Um, Links in the description. As always, we're on literally every audio platform you can think of. I mean, we're so dominant on all these audio platforms. Tell your Amazon Alexa to play the M2 podcast right now, and it will. I've done it. I got proof.
I do
Yeah,
it. Like,
yeah.
are
Like,
you
do it
kidding
now.
me?
Like,
Like that's
yeah,
sick. You know?
yep. And if you want to reach us directly, we both have Twitter. We have Discord. You can reach us on. We're always like open DMs, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We had
yeah,
an interesting conversation today in the Discord about Halo Infinite. It was very constructive and good, and you know,
yeah.
we have good conversations over at the Mad Lads Discord, so check it out. Link in the description.
Hmm. Yep. Without further ado, we'll catch you later, and peace out.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Peace.